In the 6 years I have been on Instagram, I have made $0. I have never monetized on Instagram. And I think some people are like, oh, she's got all these followers. I bet she's made so much money off of it. Money has never been a motive to me.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Sweat Success Podcast. And today is a truly special episode with an extraordinary guest and friend, Ninja Yari. And in our household, we refer to her as the Mrs. Beast of social media because she's amassed 100,000 followers on both Instagram and YouTube in just a 6 month period. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today, but I also want to tell you how we met, how our families met. I was walking down the hallways of the hospital while I was eagerly awaiting for my daughter to be born. And my wife was resting in her room. And I passed by this guy wearing this exact same hat. And, I don't think much of it at the time, just because I was a bit delirious. I just kind of noticed he's probably here for something similar. And a few weeks pass, and in our neighborhood, I run into the same guy. And he and his wife happen to be our neighbors in our neighborhood. Well, not super close, otherwise we would have known them, but they're down the street. And their daughter was also born that very same night. So our daughters have the same birthday. And I think in life, there are these moments where your lives intersect for some reason or another. And so I'm super happy to have my friend on, Ninja Yari, on the show today. And she's not just Ninja Yari, who's amassed a huge following in a very short period of time, or the Ninja Yari who has been on American Ninja Warriors and been on TV and all over Vegas on the big screens. But I think she serves as a symbol of resilience, and her story is extremely inspiring. So please listen in and enjoy. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the show, Sweat Success. And today I'm super excited because I have a dear friend. She's a friend of our family, and we've known each other for quite some time. And when we first met, there was nothing about what she was doing that was entrepreneurial. It wasn't in the mindset of where she wanted to be. But I am so happy to have Yari Breunig on because she went from just someone that I knew, right, in our neighborhood, to this person that was a fitness coach, but had graduated magna cum laude in college in biochemistry, to continuing to pursue coaching, to evolving into this entrepreneurial idea of working on workshop projects to build these pegboards, to in 6 months getting close to the Mrs. Beast of YouTube. I mean, she has 120,000 followers on YouTube in 5 months because of what she's done. And she is Ninja Yari Breunig. I'm so happy to have you on today.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you guys.
So can you just point out, like in the back, if you guys don't see this, if you're watching this on YouTube, you will see that she has the plaque from YouTube. And if you're listening to this, you just need to jump on YouTube so you can see that. But she also has her shirt, Ninja Yari. She has competed in the Ninja Warriors many times. She's had her poster put up in Vegas. I mean, she's like everywhere. And she has, how many followers do you have on Instagram too? I mean,
on Instagram, like 64,000 right now currently.
Yeah, and that just blew up.
Yeah.
So you're blowing up everywhere. And where I really want to start is kind of the humble beginnings, because you grew up in the way that you grew up. I mean, it was, you grew up as an immigrant. You came over here to this country. My wife is in the same position. She grew up in Cuba. She came here to this country. And what I find is that a lot of immigrant workers or immigrants who've come over here into the country, they have this passion, they have this drive, and it's kind of, it usually comes from a need, right? Like the idea of being in the States and having this, this ability to create your own dream, to create your own prosperity. And not only have you done that already, but you grew up with this humble start and going to church every day. making sure that you focused on school. I remember as a child, it was, I don't care what degree you get. My father used to say this. I don't care what degree you get. If you get a degree in basket weaving, just get a degree. But you graduated magna cum laude in biochemistry, and you don't even do anything with that. I mean, you have like this fantastic degree, which would allow plenty of opportunities, and you had some kind of shift. So I want to start there because I want to understand, why did you have this passion for fitness? Because at the time when I first met you, when my wife first met you and Mike, you weren't in this mindset of becoming an entrepreneur. You didn't have this like, oh, let's go do YouTube. I mean, I try and keep my kids off of YouTube because they have their freaking tablets with them all the time. So why did you switch?
So I think for me, so I was growing up as an immigrant. You are given this, you need to go to school if you want to make a life. Like if you're going to succeed in life, you have to get an education.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I loved science. So I was like, oh, I'll go into science and I'll go into biochemistry and try to become a doctor. So my whole goal was to become a doctor. And so I got my
And you easily
biochemistry
could have done
degree.
that. You could have
Yeah,
done
I
that, no
yeah,
problem. Yeah.
but it wasn't for me, so it's okay. So I went, got my biochemistry degree, and I did medical research for KU Med, and I was shadowing doctors, and I was getting ready to take the MCAT. And I think part of it for me is I started getting into fitness during school because I was stressed out. So I just needed like a
Mm.
release. I was feeling a lot of pressure. It's hard. Like school is really, really hard. But I grew up really, really poor. So for me, it was like my only way of having a better life. Because what my parents had always taught me is they didn't want me to have their life, but to have a better life. And so I started working out. So I started doing spin. So spinning was my first certification, spin cycle. And it started helping me feel confident, and like it was just this addiction, but really good addiction of like I loved to move. It made me feel good, like I finally felt whole. So then I decided that instead of doing what everybody wanted me to do, which was medical school and become a doctor,
Which
I
makes
wanted
sense.
to
You have a career path and like you make good money.
yeah, I
Yeah.
wanted to do fitness, which is like the
The
complete
opposite.
opposite
Yeah.
because there's really no money in fitness. Like people know that, but I just loved it so much. I knew there was something there. So there's something there that was leading me. And then kind of when I had my kids, like I did movement and I became a CrossFit coach as a way to just keep growing, but I never really got into this mindset that I could be really great at it because I figured that wasn't in the cards for me. Like I wasn't athletically
You weren't cut out
talented
for
or
it. Yeah.
yeah. And I kind of when I started ninja, I realized, wow, I could
Can I pause you
actually
for a second?
yeah.
Did you do any athletic stuff as a kid? Like, did you play soccer or any other sport or anything, ballet or anything like that?
No, so I grew up really, really, really poor. So I was like in Section 8 housing. I was living off the government. So my parents couldn't even
Couldn't
afford to
even
give us
afford.
food. No,
Right.
like we had to have food from the government. So for them, they sports was cut off from the beginning because even when I wanted to do sports, it wasn't an option because we didn't have the money for
Mm-hmm. It was a
uniforms or
luxury at the time.
equipment
Yeah.
or for lessons. It was a luxury.
Mm-hmm.
So I think part of my transition to fitness is fitness has always I always saw fitness as a luxury. It's not something that immigrants get to do. It's like
Mm-hmm.
that's you made it. You have the luxury of doing fitness. And then as I started growing up, I was like, this is not a luxury. Like anybody can have movement in their life. It doesn't have to be just specifically in a gym. So it was this yeah, I just realized that it was something that was attainable to all of us and it belongs to all of us and it should be accessible as well.
And that has propelled into this whole, because when you were doing this, I mean, did you have a plan in mind? Were you going, okay, I'll continue pursuing my degree path. Maybe I'll do some research, or maybe I'll work in science in some way, and then I'll just do fitness on the side. I mean, I know plenty of people who have fitness certs, and they teach group class, or they teach spin cycle, or they're a personal trainer, and it's just kind of a side gig for them, and it keeps them involved. What at this point in time in your life, what was the trajectory? I mean, what were you thinking about for the future?
I think for me, I did want to keep pursuing like research. Like I love doing being a research scientist. But then when I moved to Madison, um, the pay was pretty terrible. No offense, Madison. In the research industry, the pay is also really bad. That I would have to pay more to put my children in daycare than me stay at home with kids. So then I had to make the choice: should I focus on being a mom or try to do my degree and have to pay extra to put my kids in daycare? So then I
Mm.
decided that it
In
wasn't
a
for me
losing
yet.
situation. Yeah.
No, I figured I could do science after they start going to kindergarten and they're in school, then I can
Mm.
go back to it. But then, yeah, no, don't even think about it. I don't even think about
Well,
it at all.
I think even then, because I remember my wife was going through a similar situation, and it was, why put the kids through daycare and she's not going to see them at all, right? She's not going to spend any time with them. They're going to be in a classroom, which there's benefits to that too. I mean,
Yeah.
you're around other kids and you socially interact. So I'm not dissing on that, but from a monetary perspective, it didn't make a whole lot of sense because at the time she would be working. She came from a similar background as you. She'd be working all day in research and spending every penny on daycare to only net a very small amount. So I remember we went through that same conversation at home and was like, well, maybe we shift what you do. She stayed at home for a little while, and then she's gotten involved in our company. But this is not about her. This is about you. And I want to transcend from where you were at that point to the next stage in your life, because at some point you said, I'm going to do some swinging on some bars at a really high level and become this ninja. And that happened. And if I remember, I mean, because this is same thing here. I mean, you have not haters, but you have people who may not believe what it is that you're doing is real, right? Why spend time on this? Same thing with YouTube and Instagram. It's kind of like, is that really a career? And if your parents were to see what was going on at the time when you're doing these things, even my parents, older group, older population, different perspective, they might think, what the heck are you doing? You're doing what? I don't understand what you're doing, right? The comprehension of how it has value for you and for others doesn't really come together, right? So, at what point did you start becoming a ninja and thinking that this is a good career path, and then start putting yourself out there on YouTube and Instagram, and why did you do it?
Yeah, so interesting enough, I actually at the ninja gym that I still work at, I went in there to teach boot camps. So I was CrossFit certified. So they had just opened up. It's like 10 minutes away from me, and I went in there and got hired to coach boot camps in the morning, under strength camps as well. And I would see all the kids and some of
Mm.
the adults doing crazy obstacles and like launching themselves through the air. And I would even say that I told them I would never do that. That's just wild. I could never do that. So I always had this negative connotation of what I believed I was able to do. And we were going to have our first ninja competition, and I had Zach, who's the science ninja from UW. He was like, "You have to compete in this. You would be surprised." I was like, "No, I can't do that. I just had a baby. My baby
Mm-hmm.
Giselle was like 4 months old. The
Yeah, I
first ninja
remember.
competition." And they're like, "No, you have to do it." And I was like, "No, I don't do competitions. That's not for me." And he harassed me to the day of. I signed up the day of. I was like, oh, I should probably just do it. So I kind of did not want to at all. And I just surrendered to the idea that maybe there was something there for me. So I did it and I fell in love. So I
Had you
realized,
been practicing at all?
no, not
So
even
you hadn't.
like, I had like, I've done maybe like two obstacles, and it was just kind of like, let's see what happens kind of thing. And I did really well. And I was like, wow, this was actually really fun. I
Mm-hmm.
think I would enjoy this. And then I started to realize that I wasn't giving myself enough credit to the things that I was capable of doing. And then since then, they invited me to go train in their basement. So I started training ninja in a basement and with a fellow of American Ninja Warriors from Madison. And they kind of took me under their wing and they showed me like the technique and how to develop grip strength, and I just started feeling stronger and confident, and it just kind of blew up from there. I started becoming this person that I never thought I could become. It was very empowering and inspiring. And then COVID happened. So COVID, everything shut down. So I couldn't do ninja. I started posting on Instagram during COVID. So I realized I was getting pretty.
What were you posting for? Like what was the purpose? Because there has to be a reason why all of a sudden was it out of boredom? You're just like, oh, what do I do? Or was it I'm gonna grow an Instagram following? What was the reason behind it?
So honestly, I didn't even care about a following. I never started posting on Instagram for a following. I started posting because I was doing challenges on Instagram that I didn't think I could do, and I would do them. And I was like, oh, I need to post this. This is cool. Like, if people saw who I was to who I am now, that they maybe I could empower them to think they can do so too, which is kind of now my
That
take
was the
on
purpose.
Instagram.
Yeah.
The whole purpose was like I was doing things that I never thought in my right mind I could do. And it was amazing to see it that I wanted to show others that they could do it too. So I
Do you
started posting
think
on Instagram. I didn't even care about followers. I was hoping that American Ninja Warrior would see me, like by posting all the things I could do. But that kind of was like a loose
so
idea
like
of
in the
like
yeah, in the back of
there's
the
just a
mind?
hope
Yeah.
that you always just want to be seen. So I think a lot of people
Mm-hmm.
on Instagram, part of the issue is everybody wants to just be seen. That's all it is on Instagram. We all just want to be seen. Um, so so yeah.
Do you
I
think
started posting on Instagram.
you think there's a little bit of because as I'm listening to your story, now I know you, but we don't typically just sit down. You talk to my wife more than you and I talk about these personal adventures. So, do you think that it's possible, as I'm listening to what you're saying, that there's a component in all of us that needs that nurturing, in a sense that when you were in school, you went out to go exercise, and it was a way to just kind of get away, to release. And we know that there's chemicals, happy chemicals
Yeah.
that are released in your body by exercise, and it does truly make you feel good. And there's a reason why those distance runners continue to do distance running, is because the endorphins that they get, that runner's high for long bouts of running, and exercisers who regularly do this, regular bouts of it, they get that same feeling. So there is positive benefit from it, both on the mental side and physical side. But do you think that component of kind of nurturing that inner portion of you was also, I mean, everybody had kind of like the blues a little bit when COVID happened. So, and we're all stuck inside. So, do you think another part of you was like, hey, I need to nurture again. I need to break out of this cage a little bit. I feel tied up. So, I'm going to kind of commit myself to posting, right? Or commit myself to I'm doing these ninja movements. And now that you said, hey, to everybody, hey, I'm going to be back tomorrow, or whatever the case may be. And if you don't, you kind of let them down, but you also let yourself down. Do you, I'm just, pontificating on this potential idea here that was a portion of it. I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, so I started growing a following, even though it was really, really tiny,
Mm-hmm.
of people who were like-minded who wanted to do challenges. So we would post like challenges on stories. So that was the first time I'd done stories, and we would like 1 month, like the first month of COVID was like, let's see how long we can dead hang, and let's make a little group challenge. So I started just getting other fitness people, they weren't even influencers at the time,
Mm-hmm.
just getting together and doing challenges. So then we would be on Instagram all the time posting and like having fun and getting super creative. I remember doing push-ups. I don't know if you ever saw this post. I did push-ups on soup cans. So I
I
had
didn't
two
see that one.
stacked soup cans, two stacked soup cans with one leg. So I was doing push-ups on top of it, which was kind of cool because you have to really you
Be
have to use your
balanced.
core and stay balanced.
Good way to
So
break your nose. Yeah.
we would just get super creative, having a really good time. So it helped me feel like I was still doing good in the community, even though I couldn't coach in person. I was still like helping people online to kind of push themselves and do some challenges. Um, but yeah, to grow into what it is now has been insane. So I don't think people even realize this. So I have had several videos go viral. I I've had I've posted almost a thousand posts, and like most of them are videos. So I have spent so much time posting videos and trying to help put encouraging and empowering messages that maybe I wish I would have heard when I was small. So part of it is that I post stuff that I wish I would have known to
Like
kind of help others to
talking
grow.
to your younger self
Yeah, I'm
almost.
talking to my younger self when I'm
Yeah.
making this post. In the 6 years I have been on Instagram, I have made $0. I have never monetized on Instagram. And I think some people are like, oh, she's got all these followers. I bet she's made so much money off of it.
Mm-hmm.
Money has never been a motive to me. I have never made money off of Instagram. Sometimes I get like merchandise, but even then I've never asked to
Right.
when I get
Somebody sends
merchandise,
you something. Yeah.
yeah, I don't ask for it. I just post in goodwill that I like their stuff. So then I kind of try it. I'm like, I won't post about it if I don't like it. So
Right.
so I kind of try it out and post it, but I have never monetized. I don't sell links. I don't sell subscriptions. I could, but then I realized that I'd lose that initial feeling of me being on Instagram was to help empower people who
Mm-hmm.
were like me when I was little. I didn't think I could do anything great in my life.
Almost like charging your younger self. Like if you were, you know, if you could send this information back in time, it's like, hey, this is the future me. But if you want to know how to be like the future me, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah,
Right.
I didn't
And
have any money,
yeah.
so I wanted to
So
be
why? Right.
accessible. Yeah,
Yeah.
I want my knowledge in the fitness industry. I've been in the fitness industry now for 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
I want my knowledge to be accessible to all because nowadays people are doing like subscriptions. No offense to them, like that's great. We'll do what you want, or selling links or selling master classes or which is great. But I don't want this to turn into money because then it loses the beauty of it. Like,
It loses the core essence of why you
yeah,
started in the first place. Yeah.
yeah. So,
So the difference is that there are companies out there that might look at companies or people and they will look at what you've done and then they'll try to analyze it and go, all right, so what was her strategy here? How did she do this? Right? So I guess if you could give any advice to those listening, because you're at a point where it's like, I'm sure inside of you, you're going, oh, cool. I hit, 120,000 followers. Let's see. Or I had 1 million views in this one post. You might intrinsically go, that was fun. Let's see if I can get 200,000 followers or 2 million views. Does that happen? I mean, having played sports, there's this kind of level up where you want to get another PR, right?
yeah.
And it's a game a little bit. You play a game with yourself to try and win the next round. So, and the fact that you did really well in college and graduated at the level that you did, I would imagine you probably have that competitive nature in you naturally. And then that's if I didn't know you, but now I know you, and I know that the fact that you are competitive and you will go do Ninja Warrior and you compete with yourself. So I have to say that you probably are. I mean, I open this up saying the Mrs. Beast of YouTube, right? So I have a feeling that your growth trajectory on YouTube is kind of in that same light. So what do you want to see next?
So what I pray about for in the mornings is, God, thank you for the opportunity to inspire and empower millions worldwide. I've been praying this for a long time. So I think like for me, because I'm not even making any income from like
Right. Right.
Instagram, the more people I can reach to actually spread positivity and even like a kind of talk about God in my posts. I do talk about like just putting him first and how that's changed my
Mm-hmm.
life. I feel like the more good I can do. because there's a lot of bad stuff on Instagram and like YouTube. So I just want to keep my content real. So I think most of the content, if I can give one advice to anybody who wants to post on social media, is be real and be authentic and share your story genuinely. Nobody nowadays wants to see those perfect manicured posts anymore or videos because they are unrelatable. Like the videos of mine that have done the best are showing when I got hit in the face with a bar and I have my scar, or showing when I fell from the warp wall and I had a grade 3 ankle sprain and how I recovered. So showing like the failures. So I think people forget that they think that failure is here and success is here. No. Failure. To get to success, you have to go through failure. Failure is on the same direction as success. It's not the opposite. So I think staying genuine to your journey and life and showing like the real parts of you, that is what's really going to help build your community on Instagram or YouTube.
So you mentioned you pray to God, and I've had my own kind of experience and coming to Jesus. In for everyone, they have their own beliefs. So I'm not preaching on one specific direction or one specific religion, but I too have found my faith, so to speak. And what has shifted for you? Like, when did that happen? What has shifted, and why?
It's been insane. So I think this is probably the closest I've ever been with a relationship with God and me putting God first in everything that I do. And my life has completely changed. Like everything has changed.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it amazing how
I,
that works?
yeah, it's
Like
been,
it's so simple, and those who haven't been in that position, it's like it's really easy. Like all you got to do is just reach out.
yeah,
But go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, no worries. So I think it started, it's really interesting on season 15 of American Ninja Warrior. We were filming in the dead of night. So nobody
Mm-hmm.
really knows this, but when you film in LA on Universal Studios, the runs start at 8 and then they go all the way to like when the sun comes out. So
Oh,
you
that's
don't
fun.
sleep. You don't sleep. You're running in the middle of the night. So they had all the teens go first. I was the last of the females. I ran at 5 a.m. I think it was 5
Wow.
a.m., which was 7 a.m. here. So it's not my time zone. So I was running at 7 a.m. without any sleep. I was exhausted. I was like nervous. My first time running overnight. And I got to the second obstacle and I froze. And I was like, God, I was on the obstacle hanging, frozen. And I was like, God, like why would you do this to me? Because I thought I was doing all the right things. I
Mm-hmm.
thought like, this was my moment. I felt like this was going to be my buzzer. This was going to be my buzzer. And I was angry. And I said, God, why would you do this to me? Like, and I dropped from the obstacle and I went and I cried the whole night. And then I realized that week, like once I had like kind of put myself together, is I was thinking of God as an evil God. Like literally, who would say that?
Mm-hmm.
God, why would you do this to me? I was thinking of God as an evil God, and I realized I don't have a relationship with God. God is good. God is like love and courage and compassion and kindness. He doesn't bring about bad things in your life. It's about trusting what like God
Mm-hmm.
sets in front of you. So since after that fall, I just started praying. I started praying morning, in the meals, and at night. Praying, reading the Bible, trying to realize, and I would start to realize that the God that I had learned from the world wasn't the God that was real. Like I feel like it's people who have the misconception of God. They think it's fire and brimstone, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's the complete opposite. And so I started getting this peace, like this absolute peace, and just trusting God's will. I went on to the next season, which you'll see on June 3rd, which is when it's announced, and completely different. It was just because I had this misconception, like I was lost. And I didn't know how lost I was until I like started building a relationship. And ever since then, everything has been incredible. Like I still have missed opportunities and I've had some doors closed, but then now I don't second guess it. I'm like, oh, it wasn't for me. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, God,
Right.
what's next? You lead me. YouTube, I literally, I don't know what it was. I had this intuition feeling. Instagram was kind of not going anywhere. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I could reach more people on YouTube. And God just blew it up and just helped me grow this following. And I'm hoping that I can inspire and empower people on there too. Like, but that wasn't like normal. I feel like everything happens for a reason. So
Yeah. If one of those doors that you were trying to get into didn't close on you, maybe the next opportunity wouldn't have been there. And it's always hindsight. We always notice this later down the road when we struggle and we go, yeah, that should have happened. And you want to place blame on other people or you want to place blame on a situation. And in the reality, it's just not right for you at the time. It might be right in the future, but it's just not right now. So the fact that you've taken things and, we need more people like you, Yari, on this
oh,
on this
thanks.
planet. So you inspire people, and it's obvious because people are following you for those reasons, for all the right reasons, right? Because you're out there with passion, telling your real story, truly being who you are, and helping others along a path along a way. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to have you on, is because I know that you've gone through these struggles in life, and there are other people out there who are going through those same struggles, and they are in that point where they're going, the door has closed on me. The door is completely closed on me, and I have no hope, no faith, no opportunity. And that's not the case.
No.
So if you're listening to this, please, if anything, listen to Yari's story. Follow Yari. Pay attention to what she's been doing, because she's been tremendous in how she's kind of walked her path, because it is given to you and you can just follow it. And Yari, if there's anything you want to leave people with, because you are a coach, you help people out, you really do. What are the things that you would tell someone in a similar situation, okay, years ago, right? Now you're talking to the previous you, the younger you. What would you tell the younger you?
I would tell the younger me to put God first. I wish I would have done that a lot sooner. And to have like have faith in yourself, like in your capabilities and your abilities, and truly believe in who you are. I think we are so accustomed to have things right now, in this
Mm.
instance. It's all about everything's a marathon, nothing's a race. I feel like we treat everything as a race. Take your time and really focus on your self growth, become your best self, and know that it's going to take time. It's not an overnight transformation. I am still working on becoming my best self as well. Just be patient in all the things that you do.
Thanks, Yari. Everyone, please, if you haven't had a chance to follow Yari, take a look at what she's doing. Her YouTube channel, her Instagram, everything that she does will be posted in the show notes. Yari, always a pleasure. I'm so happy that you had the time today to talk. And of course, I'm sure if I don't talk with you, either Allie will, and looking forward to getting back to Wisconsin to meet up with you guys, hopefully in the summer.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thanks, Yari. Talk soon.
Thanks.